If you ever want to find out if your wife's cheating, I suggest flying her to a 5-star resort in the Maldives. Nothing like turquoise water and overpriced cocktails to bring out the truth. We were supposed to be celebrating our 3rd anniversary. Her idea. Something romantic, somewhere exotic, just us. She booked it, planned it, practically packed for both of us. At the time, I thought it was sweet. Now I know better. It was strategic. Day 1 felt normal. Beaches, cocktails, fake laughs for Instagram. But I could already feel it. Something was off. She smiled with her mouth, but her eyes didn't join in. That night, after we got back to the villa, she said she was tired and passed out early. I sat outside alone, listening to the waves and wondering why a vacation with the woman I loved felt like a long car ride with a stranger. Day 2, things got weirder. She spent half the morning glued to her phone. When I asked what she was doing, she said work was panicking without her. Right. Because accountants are apparently in high demand in the middle of the Indian Ocean. We had breakfast by the water. I tried to hold her hand. She flinched like I'd burned her. I made a joke. Still not over me leaving the toilet seat up? She laughed, but it was the kind of laugh you give a coworker you hate at an office party. Just a placeholder for silence. That night, I woke up around 2 a.m. and saw her outside on the porch, whispering into her phone. She didn't see me watching. I asked her the next morning who she was talking to. No one. Couldn't sleep. Just checking emails, she said, not even blinking. I wanted to believe her. I did. But you don't whisper to Outlook at 2 a.m. Still, I let it go. Because that's what we do when we're afraid the truth might hurt more than the lie. The next couple days were more of the same. Forced fun. Hollow small talk. Her glued to her phone every chance she got. She said it was stress. Work. Poor Wi-Fi. But I knew better. I just didn't know what I knew yet. Until day 5. I woke up alone. No note. No text. No sandals. No wife. She was gone. The bed was cold. Her side was untouched, pillow fluffed, covers crisp. That should have been comforting. It wasn't. At first, I figured she'd gone to the beach early. She always said she liked the morning light for pictures. I checked the shore. Nothing. Then I tried the breakfast patio. Empty seat. No coffee cup. No trail of, I ordered for both of us because I love you. Just waiters giving me those polite, confused resort smiles. Still, I wasn't panicking. Not yet. I walked the main paths, checked the spa, the yoga deck, even that ridiculous hammock lounge she made me take a picture in. No sign of her. By 10 a.m., I was pacing the front desk like a guy whose room got robbed, only worse, because in this case, what was stolen wore a wedding ring and answered to. Babe. I asked if anyone had seen her leave. One staff member said she might have seen her walking with someone, a man, maybe, but wasn't sure. Said she turned off toward the South Villas, the fancy ones with private plunge pools. We weren't in those. That's when the chill hit me. They offered to call resort security. I didn't argue. Security showed up in khakis and radios. They searched the island, if you can call walking around barefoot with a clipboard. Searching. Then, they called local police. We filled out a missing person report. They asked me all the usual questions. When did you last see her? Was she acting strange? Any arguments? Does she have a history of disappearing? I wanted to say, she disappears every night, into her phone, into silence, into her own head. Instead, I just said, no, nothing like this. The lead officer, guy named Rashid, was calm, polite, and 20% skeptical. He asked if we'd been fighting. I told him no, which wasn't a lie. We hadn't fought. But that's because I stopped trying. She was a ghost long before she vanished. By sundown, the search had gone nowhere. Rashid said there was no evidence of abduction, no signs of foul play. The cameras near the dock showed someone, matching her description, walking toward a boat taxi around 5 a.m. Alone. My stomach dropped. So she left on her own? I asked. He nodded. I stared at nothing for a long time. You want to press charges for abandonment? He asked. Technically, it's a civil matter. I almost laughed. What would I say? Yes, officer, please arrest my wife for breaking my heart in paradise. Instead, I thanked him, asked him to keep me updated, and walked back to my villa like a man whose vacation had been replaced by an empty chair. I sat on the porch that night, staring at the ocean. I didn't drink. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I just sat there, wondering, did she plan this before we even boarded the plane? Was this her grand finale? Or was I so blind I couldn't see her slipping away for months? Either way, tomorrow I was going to find out where she went, and who the hell she went with. The next morning, I skipped breakfast. I didn't feel like pretending to enjoy eggs while the whole world around me smelled like betrayal and sunscreen. Instead, I rented a scooter and did the only thing that made sense at that point. Started visiting every resort on the island. There aren't many. That's the thing about these tropical getaways. They're small slices of paradise with just enough infrastructure to charge $800 a night and give you a complimentary towel shaped like a swan. By the second stop, I was getting weird looks from concierges. Probably not every day a half-sunburned guy shows up asking if they've seen a woman matching his wife's description. But by the fourth resort, things changed. I walked into the bar just off the lobby. It was shaded, breezy, with those ridiculous $20 mojitos served in coconut shells. And there she was, Kate, in a white dress, sitting across from a guy with perfect stubble and a tank top 2 sizes too small. She was laughing. Laughing. I stood still. You know what the weirdest part was? I didn't feel rage. Not heartbreak. Just this heavy, quiet click inside me. Like a door shutting for good. They clinked glasses. He leaned across and kissed her. Nothing over the top. Just casual, practiced. Like this had been going on a long time. I didn't move. Didn't make a scene. Just slowly stepped back behind the pillar I'd entered through. And I pulled out my phone. Zoomed in. Snapped a few photos. A short video. Then walked out the way I came. I didn't know where I was walking. I didn't care. My heart wasn't racing. There was no voice in my head screaming, "Go punch that guy!" I just felt clear. Cold even. Not because I stopped caring, but because now I knew the truth. There's something oddly calming about certainty, even when it burns. Back at my resort, I sat by the pool with my phone in my hand, staring at the photos. The timestamp read 11:26 a.m. I zoomed in on her face. Her smile. The hand she rested on his arm. That was the same hand that held mine 2 nights ago and told me I was the best thing that ever happened to her. Sure, I didn't send the pictures to anyone. I didn't call her. I didn't scream into a pillow or down a bottle of rum. I just watched the waves roll in and started thinking. Not about revenge. Not yet. Just about how someone could sit next to you for years, say they love you, sleep in your bed, and still plan an escape this calculated. She didn't just cheat. She took me on a farewell vacation and figured I wouldn't notice the exit sign. Thing is, I did. And now it was my turn to do a little disappearing of my own. I didn't confront her. Didn't storm in, didn't shout, didn't toss a drink in anyone's face. That would have been too easy. Too dramatic. And honestly, too loud. She didn't deserve loud. She deserved precision. Quiet. Slow. Surgical. So I waited. The next morning, I checked out of the resort. Not to leave the island, just to disappear. I moved to a guest house across the island. No infinity pool, no champagne welcome, no towel folded like a swan. Perfect. No one there knew me. No one asked questions. I spent the day working. First, I logged into our flight reservation. I booked both tickets, remember? Paid with my card. My name on the account. I canceled hers. Requested a refund. Changed mine to leave 2 days earlier. Simple. Then I called the bank. Her credit card was linked to my account. I reported it lost. They froze everything instantly. Her wallet was now just plastic. Next, her passport. She left it in her beach bag back at our villa the day she vanished. When I moved out, I brought that bag with me. I didn't damage it. Didn't burn it. Just took it with me. Quietly. Carefully. I made photocopies just in case. Not for leverage. For protection. I wasn't planning a crime. I was reclaiming space. By sundown, here's where we stood. Her return flight? Gone. Her money? Locked. Her ID? Missing. Her access to our online accounts? Removed. She was still on the island. But now she had no map. I wasn't done yet. I booked her and her new boyfriend a reservation at one of the island's most expensive restaurants. Reserved in her name. Paid in advance. Even sent over a bottle of wine. I watched them from across the street that night. She looked stunning, honestly. That same white dress. The same fake laugh I used to think meant she was happy. They clinked glasses. Leaned in. Acted like they'd won something. I walked away before dessert. Didn't need to see the end. The next morning, I boarded my flight home. No goodbye. No text. No voicemail. Just empty space. I left her in paradise. But now, paradise had rules. And she didn't have the key anymore. She woke up late. Sunlight was creeping through the curtains, warm and soft, the kind of morning that usually says vacation bliss. Only this time, something felt off. He wasn't in bed. No sound of a shower. No smell of coffee. No lazy footsteps on the patio. Just silence. She reached for her phone. Battery dead? Fine. She plugged it in and went to grab her wallet. Gone. She blinked. Opened her beach bag. Still no wallet. No passport. No room key. Her smile faded fast. She searched the suite room by room. Nothing. It was like her belongings had evaporated overnight. She found the landline and called the front desk. Tried to sound calm. Hi, I think there's a mix-up. I can't find my wallet or my passport. The voice on the other end was polite but distant. They'd already been informed she was no longer a listed guest. Her reservation had been canceled that morning. Her payment method? Invalid. No flight. No checkout date. No records. Nothing. She asked if her partner had checked her out. They said no. They hadn't seen him either. And just like that, her world started collapsing. She hung up the phone. Sat on the edge of the bed. Tried to call me, but the number didn't work. Not blocked. Just gone. She tried her banking apps. They didn't open. She checked the email we shared for travel. No access. Then came the knock on the door. Hotel staff. Professional. Cold. They asked if she would mind checking out, since the room was no longer paid for. They could offer to hold her luggage, if she had any. She stood there frozen. No passport. No credit card. No idea where he went. And worse, No clue what to tell the man she'd spent the last 3 nights with. Because now he was waking up too, realizing she didn't have a plan, or a card, or a flight. Just a white dress, a nervous laugh, and a very long story that didn't make sense anymore. I wasn't there to see it, but I can picture it. The moment she realized I didn't follow her, didn't chase, didn't beg, I vanished with precision, just like she did, only quieter. And now? She was stuck. Not kidnapped. Not threatened. Just trapped in a lie that collapsed on itself. And the beauty of it all? I never raised my voice. Never slammed a door. Never touched a thing that wasn't mine. All I did was let her taste the freedom she craved. Then left her there with the bill. By the time she realized what was happening, I was already back home. Landed smooth. Picked up my bag. Took a cab. The city felt different. Not better. Not worse. Just clean. Like someone wiped the board. No one waiting for me. No. Welcome home. No wife. No lies. I walked into the apartment and dropped the keys on the counter. Didn't even bother turning the lights on. I wasn't angry. I wasn't sad either. It's hard to explain. It's like your brain runs out of room for emotions, and all that's left is clarity. I slept better that night than I had in months. Meanwhile, she was probably talking to the embassy, trying to report a stolen passport, explaining how she got to a luxury resort with no money, no ticket, and a man who suddenly ghosted her. She couldn't say it out loud, not really. Because if she told the full story, she'd have to admit everything. The cheating. The fake trip. The man she planned it with. Her lover, who, by the way, was now realizing just how complicated things had gotten. He didn't book the flights. Didn't pay for the room. Didn't have a return ticket for her or himself. And from what I could tell, he wasn't exactly the handle a crisis type. I got a call from the airline a few days later, confirming my refund. Then an email from the resort. They politely asked if I would be writing a review of my stay. I smiled at that. Thought about it. How do you review a vacation where your marriage dies and your pride is reborn? 5 stars. Would disappear again. I didn't write anything. Didn't post. Didn't text her. Didn't rage online. My silence was the story. But eventually, I did send one thing. A video. Just a short clip I'd taken the day I saw them together. No voiceover. No message. No threats. Just her, sitting across from him. Laughing. Leaning in. Kissing him like I never existed. I sent it to her phone. Then turned mine off. That was it. No confrontation. No lecture. Just a mirror. She could watch it as many times as she needed. 3 days later, she wrote. Not a call. Not even a voicemail. Just a message, sent at 2:13 a.m., like guilt only wakes up after midnight. Please, can we talk? I'm back in the city. I don't know what happened. I just need to explain. Explain? I stared at the screen for a full minute. There was nothing left to explain. I saw her. I saw him. I saw the way she smiled at him like I'd never existed. The worst part? It didn't even hurt anymore. By then, it was just background noise. I didn't reply. The next evening, she doubled down. I never meant to hurt you. He wasn't real. It was a stupid mistake. Please let me explain in person. He wasn't real? I laughed at that one. Quiet, dry laugh. You don't spend 3 nights in a luxury suite with someone who's not real. You don't fake that look on your face. The one that says, this is where I'd rather be. And you don't book a vacation with your husband just to sneak off and cheat on him 5 minutes after check-in, unless it was real. By day 4, Her tone changed. The edge was gone. Now it was desperation. I messed up. I know I did. Please, say something. Anything. I waited until midnight, made myself a black coffee, sat at the kitchen counter in silence. Then I typed back. Just one sentence. You don't need to explain anything. I saw enough. Sent. That was it. She replied in less than a minute. Please. One meeting. Just once. I swear I'll tell you everything. I owe you that much. Yeah. She did owe me something. But not a story. Not closure. She owed me honesty 2 years ago. She owed me respect before the lie, not after it unraveled. I didn't answer. Not to be cruel, but because there was nothing left to salvage. This wasn't a broken plate. This was ashes. And I wasn't standing in the smoke anymore. She kept writing that week. Not every day, but enough to keep the wound open if I let it. I didn't block her. Didn't yell. Didn't send a dramatic voice message or long paragraph. I just stopped showing up. Because the truth is, people don't change when they're caught. They change when it costs them something. And she was finally starting to understand the price. She didn't lose me on that island. She lost me long before. The moment she chose her light over my trust. The moment she kissed him like I never mattered. That video I sent her? That was my goodbye. I didn't need an apology. I didn't want tears. I just wanted her to sit in silence and understand what it feels like when someone you thought would always be there just stops answering. I agreed to meet her. Not because I wanted to see her face again. Not because I needed answers. But because something in me wanted it done. Properly. Out loud. A clean cut. We picked a neutral place. A quiet cafe downtown. No memories. No ghosts. I got there early. Sat by the window. Ordered coffee I didn't touch. When she walked in, I barely recognized her. Not because she looked different. She still wore the same makeup, same perfume, same coat I once bought her. But there was a weight to her now. She walked like someone carrying 1,000 pounds of shame in her purse. She sat down across from me and just looked. For a long moment, she didn't speak. I didn't help her. Finally, she said, I don't even know where to begin. I stayed quiet. Let her flail. What I did, it wasn't planned. At least not at first. I didn't wake up one day thinking I'd cheat on you. I swear. I took a sip of coffee. Bitter. Cold. Fitting. He was just there. And I was feeling lonely. Like you were drifting away. That part made me blink. Me? I said. You felt like I was drifting away. She looked down, ashamed. Didn't argue. I didn't handle it right. I should have talked to you. I know that. I leaned back in my chair. The air between us felt like it weighed 100 pounds. I gave you space to talk, I said. Every day. You just kept choosing silence. She nodded. Wiped the corner of her eye. I thought I could manage both. That I could keep our life together while figuring out what I wanted. And what did you want? She didn't answer right away. Then she whispered, Not this. I believed her. That was the worst part. I didn't think she wanted to destroy us. I think she just didn't care enough to protect what we had. She reached for my hand. I pulled it away. I miss you, she said. I miss how you made me feel. You miss who I used to be for you, I said. But you never saw me. Not really. She went quiet again. I could tell she wanted to ask something. Maybe if there was a chance. Maybe if I still loved her. But I didn't give her that out. Instead, I said, I'm not angry anymore. You don't have to apologize. I'm not here for that. Then why did you come? She asked. to say goodbye. Properly. She looked like she was about to break. But I didn't. I stood up, took a breath, looked her in the eyes one last time. I hope you figure yourself out, I said. But I'm done being collateral damage in your journey. And then I walked out. No hug. No dramatic pause. Just one last look. And silence. It's strange how quiet life becomes once the wrong voice disappears. After that last meeting, I didn't cry. Didn't replay it in my head 100 times. Didn't wait for another message. I just got on with it. There's something peaceful about finality. It doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be true. I cleared out her drawer. Gave away the sweater she left on my side of the bed. Deleted our shared calendar. Turned our apartment back into mine. That first morning alone, I actually slept in. No tension in my chest. No pretending. Just silence, and coffee that didn't go cold while I sat overthinking. At work, I was sharper. More focused. No more hiding texts under the table or wondering why she didn't answer mine. My friends started noticing. You seem lighter, one of them said. Yeah. Turns out betrayal weighs more than most people think. I started hitting the gym again. Not to glow up or prove anything. Just because it felt good. It felt like reclaiming space she used to rent in my head. And no, I didn't jump into some new whirlwind romance. I wasn't looking to fill the space she left. I was learning to enjoy it. That kind of solitude? It's underrated. When you stop chasing closure, you realize most doors don't need to be slammed. They just need to be locked. With you on the other side. I ran into someone I hadn't seen in years, my old friend Marcus. He asked about her. I smiled and said, She's part of a story I don't read anymore. He nodded. Said nothing else. That was enough. I never told people the full story. Didn't post about it. Didn't make her a villain in some social media saga. Because honestly, she wasn't even the worst part. Losing her didn't break me. What almost did was how much of myself I gave away trying to keep her happy. You can survive heartbreak, but rebuilding who you are? That's the hard part. And I was finally doing it. 2 weeks passed. I was at home, Thursday night. Rain tapping the windows like an old habit. Had music playing low, something bluesy. Cooking pasta. Garlic, olive oil. Nothing fancy. Phone buzzed on the counter. One new message. From her. I didn't rush to check it. Didn't freeze. Didn't brace. Just stirred the sauce, took another sip of wine. Then picked up the phone and tapped the screen. Hey. I've been thinking a lot. I know I heard you more than I can ever say. I don't expect anything, but if you'd ever want to meet, just to talk, I'd like that. I miss the real you. I stared at the words. The real me. That line. The irony of it almost made me laugh. Because the real me was someone she never saw. I was the man who planned surprises for no reason. The man who paused movies to explain plot twists she didn't get. The man who offered her everything, while she quietly built an escape route behind my back. And now she missed him? I put the phone down. Didn't reply. Didn't get angry. Didn't write some dramatic send-off she could screenshot and dissect. I just smiled. It wasn't a smug smile. Not revenge. Not bitterness. It was peace. I stirred the pasta one last time, drained it, and turned off the stove. The message was still there. Still blinking, like it mattered. I opened it again. Read it once more, just to be sure I hadn't missed anything. Then, I hit delete. No reply. No. Seen. No window left open. Just gone. And that was the moment. Not when she cheated, not when I left the island. but right there in my kitchen, with the garlic still warm in the pan. That's when I finally, completely walked away.